Remember to mute your self if you're not talking.
Hello, is anybody there? Hello?
Yeah, man, I'm here,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I'm here, man. I just testing the YouTube live because I started a live before and canceled it, but
Okay.
it looks like that live is still up with this
Okay.
live, which is weird. So I'm just trying to sort that out. Ashton. Hello, testing.
Yeah, I'm here.
Alright, cool. All right. Ashton. Oh,
Yeah.
hey, David.
Here.
David, you here? All right, Ashton, you and Ivy can have a brief conversation, please. I'm trying to see which one of the lives we are currently on.
All right, sure. Start and then introduce you. Ivy here also.
Just for those online, just give us a few minutes, please. I just starting out the live stream. Ivy and Makeda, are you guys hearing me?
Yes, Simon, I can hear you.
Ivy?
Okay, yeah, I'm here now. Hello?
Yeah, man. So Ivy and Makeda, I'm trying to test the live stream. We have duplicate streams. You guys can have a short conversation, please.
I'm here.
Yeah. David, welcome, David.
Thanks again.
Oh, hi, David. What's up?
Oh,
I'm
hey,
all right.
David.
All right.
Yes. Unit. Trevon is here?
Just making sure to put my items on mute.
Simon was saying that he is basically trying to check. So there's another link.
Oh,
A secondary link?
No, I'm not sure how this one works.
I believe we're supposed to just talk so that we can test if we can hear the stream via YouTube.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I just heard you guys via YouTube.
Okay.
That means it is up and running then.
See where it's saying this video has been removed by the uploader.
Yeah, that's the
That's
first.
what I've seen as well.
That's the first stream. But if you refresh the screen, you should see it
Should
again.
play.
Yeah, people are commenting.
Let me reload.
See where it's saying this video has been removed by the uploader.
Yeah, that's the first.
What I've seen.
Oh, it delayed.
That's the first stream. But if you refresh the screen.
All right. So
Yeah,
the stream.
That's what I've seen. Okay.
Yeah. So you should just have one stream now, guys. All right. So, just introductions. David, are you hearing us now?
I can hear you clearly, yes.
All right, cool. I hear you as well. Clifton.
All right, guys. Yes, I'm here. Good night. Good night.
All right, Samanda. Okay, so you should just have one.
Hi, guys.
Good night.
Oh, good night.
Good night.
All right. Excellent. All right, let's just give like 1 more minute and then we'll start. So 1 more minute.
Guys.
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you. All right, so welcome everybody that's on. We usually wait a few minutes for more people to sign on when we share the YouTube stream, but we can start nonetheless. Welcome to the June edition of Stocks on the Rocks. This edition is particularly geared towards our teens, at educating our teens and giving them an opportunity to ask pressing questions about money management and investments. So for those that don't know, Stocks on the Rocks is basically a platform that was created to promote financial literacy. And when we talk about financial literacy here, we're talking about overall savings and money management, investments, and insurance. So each month, we try to get different professionals from different fields to just come and share their expertise with us. So today, we are happy to have Samantha Tolo. Samantha, pronounce your name right?
Yes, Simon, that's it.
All right, so we're happy to have Samantha Tolo, a portfolio advisor from Proven Wealth, and Clifton Lee. Clifton's name is easy. Clifton Lee, senior sales analyst from JN Bank.
All right, good night, everyone.
Yeah, man, Clifton. So Julian Morrison is going to be here, but Julian is running a bit late on the road. So we are going to start without him, and he should be joining in about half an hour or so. And of course, myself, I usually just moderate. But one of the things that I will be doing is I will be going through some of the investment slides as well, because I mean, that's where my expertise is. I'll be sharing with you guys as it pertains to investments. All right. Samantha and Clifton, thanks again for being here. All right, so let's go. So when we're talking about money management and savings, Clifton is going to give us some tips and tricks that he uses. He works in the banking sector, and he has a lot of exposure to this. So this is definitely something that we'd want to talk to him about. And guys, feel free to ask questions from the YouTube link. Feel free to ask questions in Zoom, and I will ask the panelists those questions, okay? All right, so there was a short clip that I wanted to play. There was a short clip that I wanted to play. Personally, I've never watched Big Bang Theory before, but this is a clip that someone shared with me from Big Bang Theory, and it was just very good. So I wanted to share with you guys. Sorry, I just want to confirm that you guys are hearing it.
Oh, the audio is bad.
All right, hold on. Let me try to turn up the audio. Let me try to turn up the audio. Give me a sec. All right.
Simon, I don't think we have any audio.
Sorry, repeat.
We don't have any audio.
All right, Simon, I think you will have to share the audio from your side on the Zoom platform. There's an area at the bottom left-hand corner that states to share audio in the video so that everyone can hear.
All right, tell me if you're hearing now.
Me like $1,200 to fix it.
Yep.
It occurs to me you could solve all your problems by obtaining more money.
Yes, it occurs to me too. Pay like $1,200 to fix it.
You know, it occurs to me you could solve all your problems by obtaining more money.
Yes, it occurs to me too.
Hang on a moment.
Oh,
Here, take some. Pay me back when you can.
wow, you got a lot of money in there.
That's why it's guarded by snakes. Take some.
Don't be silly.
I'm never silly. Here,
No, I can't.
don't you need money?
Well, yeah, but...
This is money I'm not using.
But what if you need it?
My expenses account for 46.9% of my after-tax income. The rest is divvied up between a small savings account, this deceptive container of peanut brittle, and the hollowed-out buttocks of a superhero action figure who shall remain nameless for his own protection. Or her own protection. Take some.
Really? I mean, are you sure?
I see no large upcoming expenditures, unless they develop an affordable technology to fuse my skeleton with adamantium like Wolverine.
Are they working on that?
I sincerely hope so.
Okay, well, thank you. Oh, God, no, I can't. Sheldon, honey, I don't want things to be weird between us.
Won't it also be weird if I have to say hello to you every morning on my way to work and you're living in a refrigerator box and washing your hair with rainwater?
I'll pay you back as soon as I can.
Of course you will. It's impossible to pay me back sooner than you can. Assuming you subscribe to a linear understanding of time and causality.
I'm regretting this already.
All right, so that I found that interesting, particularly because you know you have one person who seems really bad with money, and another who seems really good with money. And you know, even if you look at the dynamics of it, you know, the guy that is really good with money, he knows exactly the percentage of his income that goes towards the expenses. He spends less than he makes, and as such, he's able to save and lend when he wants to. So I think the video gave a good dynamic between two different people that manage their money in different ways. So let's go to the tips. So I'll pass over to Clifton now.
All right, good night again, everyone. Is everyone hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you, Clifton.
Okay, lovely, lovely. So, as Simon already said, I'm a senior sales analyst at JN Bank, and I'm just happy to be here to share my knowledge and my expertise and experience in saving and banking and investing. I think this is a great platform to inform our teens, and I hope that it continues for a very long time. All right, so saving. Now, from my experience, especially in our country or this economy that we're in right now, when people hear saving, they assume that they have to have a large amount of income to save money, you know, and that's something which is very far from the truth. You can save with almost anything, any amount of income, any amount of disposable income that you can put your hands on, you can actually save money. You don't need a large amount of income to really save. And today I'm going to share with you guys some tips in terms of how to do that. how to start from pennies basically and amount to a large amount of money. So one thing that I've realized, especially individuals who work in the 9 to 5 sector, they receive their income, their net income I'm talking, not the gross. So this is after tax, and they would immediately go towards paying the bills, paying car loans, buying their favorite toy or their favorite clothing or anything like that, but they neglect to really pay themselves. And that's a huge point I want to bring across to everyone here. Really and truly, if you're looking at the margin in which you can really save in, you have to look at the amount of money you're bringing in. So that's called your income. And then you look at your expenditure. But a lot of people don't realize that yourself, investing in yourself or paying yourself is actually an expenditure as well. And that's one of the first expenditures you really need to do, especially in this economy, and trying to break out of the lower class to the middle class to the upper echelon. This is something that you have to really take into consideration on a consistent basis and make it become habit. Now, when I say pay yourself, what do I mean by that? Just like how you'd pay JPS or you pay National Water Commission, or you'll buy your favorite meal, right? That's the same way you're going to pay yourself by actually saving money. So it's either you're going to follow the video and save your money in a can, or you're going to save your money in a bank account or save it under your pillow. It doesn't matter. But once you're paying yourself, that is like the first step that you really need to take and look towards doing. Now, the world that we live in is not equal. And to think it is, it would be a flawed thinking, right? Everyone have different levels of income or different ways in which they accumulate funds. Now, some get a large amount of income and some don't. That's just the reality of the world that we live in. But a rule of thumb that I've always taken for myself since I think it was 2013, I really learned this, was any amount of funds that I accumulate or get in my possession, I automatically deduct 10% of that money. So it doesn't matter what it is. If I get $100 from a friend, if I get paid, if I work and I achieved a stipend, I take 10% of that money. And I call that 10% of that money Clifton's payment. Why 10% of the money? Because usually in any scenario, taking 10% of the money off the top, it's negligible. You won't really feel it that much. Now, in your mind, you're going to convince yourself that, oh my, I'm going to feel this 10% is way too much. But if you look at it, really and truly, 10% is not that big of a deal compared to what you're spending money on doing other things, right? Now, if you consistently take 10% of the money from anywhere that you get money from, and you put that down towards saving, you are going to now accumulate a certain amount of disposable income where you can now use to do other things to move up the ladder in terms of lower class, the middle class, the upper echelon. And we're going to discuss how you go about doing that later down, as well as other speakers.
So I wanted to ask, sorry to cut you.
Yes, man, no problem.
I just want to remind everybody that this is more of a discussion, so you can ask Clifton questions throughout. So we're monitoring the feed, so any questions you have, you can just throw it out. But Clifton, when you were younger, let's say when you were in your teens, did you have the same concept of, okay, if I get this amount of money, I'm going to put this amount aside? Delmar Square, said, can you give this saving advice from a lunch money point of view? So for example, like let's say Delmar gets $700.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So that's a good question. Okay. So I'll take you. So for those of you who don't know, I went to Monroe College. It's a boarding school in St. Elizabeth. So I learned the hard way of saving. Well, I was forced to learn the hard way of saving because I wouldn't see my parents until 3 weeks time. That's 21 days, right? So I'll get a certain amount of money, and that money has to last me for 3 weeks, regardless of what happens. I have to use that money to last me for 3 weeks. So at the beginning, I didn't have the same mindset in terms of taking 10% off the top immediately, but I knew the importance of saving, right? So I would save probably $50 to $100 here and there, but I really got into it in terms of taking 10% off the top when I realized that if anything happens to my parents, the providers of my income at the time in high school, I would be left with nothing, right? I don't know what I would do. I wasn't born in a wealthy family or anything like that where I can easily call on my aunts or uncles or anything like that. So I had to solely rely on my parents to provide everything for me. And it came to me when we had a seminar at Monroe and they were talking about saving and what the importance of saving and insurance and everything like that. And at the time, I thought I didn't really need to learn it until they pitched the point where what if something happens to your family, your mother, your father, your sister, your aunt, what will you do then? And that really put me into perspective. So to give you an idea of how to use this principle in terms of a lunch money standpoint or perspective, that your parents give you, I would say, probably $8,000 to $10,000 to last you for a week or probably 2 weeks, right? You would split that up into the days in which you'll go to school and you'll use your lunch money and you know what you want to buy already, or you have an idea of what you want to buy already. Usually for me back in high school, I would be probably a beef patty, a cocoa bread and 2-bag juice or something like that would be a go-to meal, right? I had that almost every single day religiously. What I realized is that when you actually take 10% off the top, instead of buying 2-bag juice, I usually buy 1-bag juice and probably 2 patty instead of the cocoa bread. And it wasn't that big of a difference to me having that extra cocoa bread and bag juice than not having it. You understand? And what I came to realize is that when I did that consistently for 30 days or more, I had equivalent of what I would have gotten to hold me for that entire period of time. And in high school, when you have that much money and you're holding it in your hands and you're not paying any bills or you're not paying anything like that, you feel really rich. You feel like, you have something here, so that was my first point in terms of understanding the importance of saving. But it goes even further than that, and I want to discuss that as well in terms of looking at some of the points here in terms of write down your life and financial goals, right? That's a crucial point that I want to talk on.
One more. Before you go on to that point, we have one more question related to what you just said.
Yeah.
Well, Aishiba said, it's even worse now because school is closed and they barely get any money. And attendant said, how long ago did you start? I think you just answered that. So you said basically when they came to Monroe and they really pitched it to you, and you said, okay, wow, this seems to be important. Aishiba is asking though, any tips as to how we can be disciplined with actually saving the money? Let me give my layman's perspective first. So from my perspective, I'm going to be very honest. Discipline was the major issue for me. One, I didn't really get whole heap of lunch money either. You know. As a matter of fact, sometimes I didn't get any at all. So for me in high school, it wasn't necessarily saving to overall. So okay, I'm going to save overall, and I'm going to put this down for a rainy day. It was really more saving towards a goal, right?
Yeah.
So let's say, for example, I know that I want to go Champs Friday,
Yeah.
and I want bleachers tickets, right? I know I can't get them things for free. I wasn't on the track team, so I had to from before say, okay, Champs tickets cost, let's say $1,200. So I need to put down this from whatever I get over this period in order to get that. But Aishiba is saying, boy, Aishiba have a lot of questions, you know. So let me just throw that back over to you, Clifton. How would you advise Aishiba? I think Aishiba is from Excelsior. She's Excelsior's head girl.
Okay.
Advise her to in terms of discipline, because you seem more disciplined than me.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm more disciplined than you, but I would say that I practice it a lot. You know, in anything in life, in anything you want to achieve, you have to be disciplined towards your goal. So as Simon said, you know, he was mostly saving towards a goal, and that's a good step. You know, saving towards a goal and a good mindset to start off with. But as you grow older and you more experienced, you realize that it has to become a lifestyle to really sustain it. So how did I first become disciplined towards doing it? It's really taking actions, you know. A lot of people, they have great ideas, but they fail to achieve anything great because they don't take action towards doing it, right? And then once doing it, consistently doing it. Um, it's it sounds simple, but it's quite hard to do if you really realize, if you take a pen and a paper and you write down what you consistently do, you realize that we are haphazard in our actions in terms of what we do. And the ones who achieve greatness, the ones who achieve massive wealth, are the ones who are very consistent towards what they do. So what I always do, I always think of the end in mind, right? So for instance, when I'm faced with a choice, because we all have choices that we have to make. Either I'm going to buy this fried chicken and rice and peas and spend off my $500, or I'm going to buy a beef patty and a bag juice and I'm going to save $250, right? I always think about the ending mine in terms of, okay, if I have this fried chicken and rice and peas right now, how will I feel in the moment? I'll feel great, lovely. If I have the beef patty and bag juice right now in the moment, how would I feel? I'll feel okay. I wouldn't feel bad. I wouldn't feel great. I'll be okay. All right, lovely. In 10 days from now, when you want to buy something else and you don't have any money, how would you feel? I'll feel bad. I'll feel sad. I'll feel depressed. I'll feel down. I'll feel like the world is against me. But in 10 days from now, when I have $300 in my pocket and I realize that I can afford to buy a special pen that I like, how would I feel? I feel happy. I feel great. I feel that I'm able to achieve something. And then right there in that moment, you realize what's called delayed gratification. You know, we live in a society where we want instant results, right? But the truth of the matter is that most people really don't know is that everything achieved around us right now, none of it is instant. It seems instant because that's the end result you're looking at, but you have to look at the process towards reaching there. Everything that we look at, it's a process, and you have to enjoy going through that process and having this delayed gratification so that you can now achieve what you want in the long run. So as Simon said, he wanted to go champs, he wanted to be in the bleachers. He wasn't fortunate to receive free tickets from the track team because he wasn't on the track team, but he knew that he wanted to see his school run and see his friends running. So he saved towards it. He delayed the satisfaction of having something nice now so that he'll be able to have something which will really make him happy 10 days down the line. And that's how we really have to think about everything that we want to achieve. This is not just with saving or investing, but this is towards life. Everything we want to do, we have to think about the end in mind. And every action that we take, it's a step towards that goal. Which brings me to a point where I really want to talk on is about taking action. People who take action towards saving and investing really turns out to be the lucky ones. You ever hear that like somebody invests, say, in the Wheaton shares, what went on the other day, and they realize somebody put 100,000 in there, and like in 3 weeks it doubled to 200,000. They pull the money and they're like, oh my gosh, I just gained $100,000, and someone will say, oh, you're so lucky. It's really not luck. They took the action to really put money aside so that it can work for you. But I don't want to take points from Samanda in terms of investing, so I won't go over into that. But that's a point that I really want to inform not just our teens, but everyone here, our parents as well, and our friends and our colleagues and everything about taking action. Everyone have great thoughts, but the sad thing about it is not everyone take action towards achieving the things that they want to achieve. So I would say to be disciplined, really think about the end in mind, take actions to what you want, and consistently remind yourself why you're doing what you're doing. We're easy to forget why we're doing what we're doing because we're consistently distracted we're consistently distracted with the things around us. And we have to remind ourselves on a consistent basis why we're doing what we're doing. So just like you'll wake up in the morning and you'll brush your teeth every single day consistently, because if you don't brush your teeth, you're gonna have bad breath, or you're gonna get cavities and everything like that. It's just that's the same way you have to look towards your mindset as well. A lot of people don't train their minds, or a lot of parents don't teach their kids to train the way they think, their thoughts, because thoughts become things. If you're thinking about saving and investing towards going to champs, your thoughts are going to push your actions, and your thoughts are going to make you want to put money aside to go to champs and watch your friends run a race. But if your thoughts are in the know, thinking about satisfying myself, no, having this nice fried chicken and rice and peas, no, then your actions are going to reflect that. You're going to buy the fried chicken and rice and peas, no. So to be disciplined, think about the end goal, take actions towards it, and consistently remind yourself why you're taking the actions towards this. And you'll realize that more likely than not doing it, you would actually be consistent in your actions. No, it's something that you have to train. It's not, you won't get it right the first time or the second time or the third time. Probably you go 3 days, then you break it, then you go 5 days, then you break it. But the idea is to consistently go back and make a step in the right direction. It doesn't have to be a large step. It can be a small step in towards the right direction. And you'll realize that sooner or later it becomes a habit. Now, when it becomes a habit, that's when it really starts to serve you. So that's my answer to that point there.
Yeah, man. As you were talking about taking action, I was just thinking about one way to look at it is as it pertains to studying. In some ways, we practice delayed gratification for that as well.
Yes, man. Yes.
If your aim is to get a 1 in Cape Mat, you know exactly what you may need to do to get to, or how long you may need to study to get that, you know, and you work towards that, and you sacrifice what the time that you have now in order to get that in the future. But Justin, a couple of the guys have touched on an important point. Kidisha, I see what you're saying about oversaving. I'll come into that, but they want to know how do they open a bank account, and how do they go about saving in that, and what would be your recommendation? I also want to, before you answer Clifton, I want to let the guys know that stay on a bit, because we'll be talking to Samantha about opening an investment account as well, and the steps that you as teenagers and your parents can make towards getting that. We will also be giving away 3 gift certificates, each valued at $10,000, so that you guys can get your investments on. All right. So the question, Clifton, is, can they open a bank account? So I'm assuming that these guys here are probably between 16 to 18.
Okay, all right. So yes, Simon. So opening a bank account, it varies. The type of account that you want to open based on the age of the individual and the purpose of the account. But if we're looking at the age range, like say less than 20, over 16, less than 20, yes, there are ways in which you can open your account as well. They have, well, I know for sure in terms of JN, we have what's called a Safe Smart account. So that's for schoolers, a schoolers account, where individuals at the age of 16 and older can open up their account with just $500 as a starting limit. And from there, they can consistently save towards their goals,
So
right?
can they just go into a bank, a JN bank? Any of the teenagers can go into a JN bank and just open the JN account?
Okay, so for teenagers between the age of 16 to 20, um, if they want to open up a student account, right, a schoolers account, as they will call it and everything, all the thing that you really need to do is just have $500 on your ID, and you can go into any JN bank location, and then they would sit you down, take all your details, and open up your account same day, right there and then with your $500. You get a little card that you can hold on to. So it's a ATM card. And from there, you can also sign up to the online platform as well to track your savings. And yeah, that's about it for students that's in between 16 and 20. That's a
So,
program that we consistently have across the whole island.
so students, what about students that are under 16, but they also want to save and they would like to save in a bank account? How would
Okay.
you recommend they go about doing that?
Okay, so for students under the age of 16, so you'll have what's called a dual ownership account, right? So that's where your guardian or your parent or someone who is of the age of 18 and older would open the account with you, and then you're able to be saving in that account and have access to that account as well, right? So that's for individuals who are under 16. So you'll need what is called a dual ownership account. So I would suggest doing that in terms of that way. You'll still have the privilege of actually opening the account with $500. As long as you will be on the name of the account, then you'll be good to go from there.
Okay. So Samaya Cochran is asking if the teens need a TRN to open any of these accounts.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. For individuals who are below the age of 16, right? So usually when you're below 16, you wouldn't really have your TRN as yet or anything like that. So that's where you'll have the dual ownership account going to come into play. So the guardian or your parents, their TRN will be on file for that, right? But say that you are individual even over 16, and you haven't received or haven't gone to fill out application for your TRN as yet, for some reason, you'll still be able to open the account as well, but it will be under the notion that you would agree to retrieve your TRN within a specific time period. You understand?
Okay. Kidisha,
Yeah.
Kidisha is so okay. So Kidisha is asking, are commercial banks better, or credit unions better for young savers? So I know you work at a bank,
Mm-hmm.
Clifton, but I mean, which one is one better in certain circumstances?
Well, to tell the truth, it all really depends on what your goal is. As you said, Simon, it really depends on what your goal is and what you're saving towards to consider which one is better, right? The really difference between it in terms of bank and credit unions would be the insurance on your money, that you really want to look at. So, for instance, if you are a young saver starting out and you accumulate a vast amount of money throughout your years, you're now an adult, and say something happened, meaning that the bank got robbed or some crisis happened or an act of God happened, right? And you'll have lost all the money. Your money is insured, and almost every commercial bank right now in Jamaica insures your money up to 600,000. So that's a regulation by BOJ that the accounts have to be insured for that amount. So you'll be sure to get back your money. For credit unions, I can't say for certain how much the insurance is, but I know it wouldn't be as much as the commercial banks in terms of the insurance on the money. So that would be like the major difference between them in terms of saving aspect of things.
Okay,
But
that's a very important point.
yeah,
Aishiba
it
is
is.
saying
It
she
is.
opened a Scotia account two days ago,
Mhm.
and she needed passport, school ID, TRN, proof of address, references, and $5,000. So
Yeah.
and I'll repeat what Clifton said a while ago, that Jane Bank has a student related account that may not be as onerous.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's every bank have their certain policies in terms of how they open their accounts and stuff. But you have to look at the fact that Scotiabank is really a foreign-owned bank, right? It's not really owned by Jamaica, so they have regulations not just out here in Jamaica, but from their main bank, that's in Canada, about how to go about opening accounts. Now, many Jamaicans wouldn't know. That's why they would say, okay, boy, all banks are thieves or robbers or anything like that. But that's not really the case. You have to look at and understand where the bank is coming from and the policies that they have to work with. Now, if you look at the exchange rate between the Canadian dollar and the Jamaican dollar, it would be quite unfortunate for Nova Scotia in Canada to open an account for $500 Jamaican. That would really be like probably cents on the dollar for them, and they wouldn't be able to really maintain those accounts. So you'll realize that students will still have to pay the regular price that adults will have to pay to open accounts. But when you look at banks out here, which are Jamaican-owned banks, then you'll realize that the policies are a little bit different and they are going to tailor it towards the economy that we're living in. So you will realize that it's a lot easier for Jamaican citizens, especially to open accounts, say at JN or JMB or one of those banks. It would be a lot easier for them rather than open it at FCIB or Scotia Bank or those banks.
I never looked at it from that perspective before.
Yeah, I
So
mean, a lot of Jamaicans wouldn't, because I mean it's not really common knowledge like that. But we're here today and we're here to share the knowledge, so why not?
all right, so Delmar has another very Delmar have all of the questions, most of them. So here's another very important question. He said, question, we students want to be able to shop online while saving. And we prefer Visa debit cards. Is this offered at JN?
Okay. So at the moment, right now, as we speak, it's not offered at Jane Bank, but in September, October, by November 1st, it will be offered by Jane Bank. And basically,
guys, so you
almost all
heard that
banks.
here. You heard that here. Jane is going to start offering Visa debit, you said?
Yeah, the Visa debit.
So question, Clifton, and I don't know if you can release that information as yet. Will this Visa debit account apply to the student's account? So if a student opens an account, will they get a Visa debit card?
Yes, well, not to go into great detail, but every account basically, so it's a transition of the accounts. So every account is going to be capable of having a Visa debit. So every card which is currently on the market right now is going to be a Visa debit card coming later down in the year. So everyone, no matter which account you're opening, is going to be able to have the privilege of Visa debit. That means saving whilst having the privilege to spend online. So that was really the main point, the main pushing driver, or the drivers for, say, Scotiabank in the early part, and then FCIB came with theirs and NCB came with theirs. But you'll realize that every commercial bank is going down that path. So JMMB and Kajikor and Jane Bank, we're all going to have that path as well. It's just depending on your preferences, really.
So we only have a few minutes left, but I wanted to say something. So Delmar and the guys online. So basically what I'm getting from what Clifton is saying is that for now, it's really a balancing act. So if you want less requirements, Jane Bank has an account that is specific to students. However, if you're a student that wants Visa debit, a Visa debit card, then the trade-off is that if you're going to go to some of the other banks that offers that, you may have to provide more and a higher deposit upfront.
Most definitely.
Right. However, Jane will be providing Visa debit later down in the year. Come on, Aishiba, when I say guys, I mean guys and girls. I mean guys and girls. But Clifton, I quickly wanted to run through the tips for parents. If you realize I put an asterisk there, and it's very important for us to point out these things to the parents of you guys, that they have to be your financial coach sometimes. They have to help to pass on some of that information to you.
Most definitely, I agree with that.
Clifton already mentioned that in some instances, when you're below a certain age, your parent still has to open the account for you. You can't get around that. Involve them in your financial planning. There's an interesting point that I found, Clifton. I was looking on stuff online, and they said that parents should allow their children to spend and then teach them sometimes, rather than chastising them and say, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. You should allow them to learn, and then allow them to make certain mistakes.
That's a good point. And it's important I want to speak on as well in terms of, so parents are like they're the primary socialization agents for young teens, young children growing up. They're the first ones who they really socialize with, right? And young students or kids really model individuals who are around them the most. So I'm not sure if you ever heard the saying that the 5 closest people to you is going to be the average of how you are, right, across all areas. So you'll realize that kids really tend to model their parents a lot. So financial coaching by the parents on the kids is really important, right? And I agree with the point in terms, I mean, there are different modes of learning, right? So some parents would prefer to guide their kids along the way and don't let them put their hand in the fire. Some would allow them to put their hand in the fire, then teach them the lesson. So there are different modes. But my approach, or what my idea in terms of that would be, the parents would first educate themselves towards becoming financially literate, right? And then from there, they're going to guide their child by through their actions. So what they do, their child is going to copy them, and they will guide them in terms of teaching them the ropes, telling them what is right, what is wrong, and also allowing them to make that choice. If they make the incorrect choice, then that's where you're going to show them where they went wrong, why they went wrong, while reinforcing what the right way is. But first, the parents would first have to become financially literate. And I want to leave you with this in terms of a great tool to use throughout life and understand is a book called The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Carlson. I really believe reading is the way to improve your standing in life. And the faster you learn is the faster you earn. So I would recommend reading to every single person, and a book that will really help you, students, parents, kids, adults alike, is The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Carlson. There are golden nuggets in that, and I believe that you will have sustainable wealth in the future if you follow those principles. Thank you.
Thanks again so much, Clifton. And just to summarize the points, Clifton's presentation was basically saying, guys, take action. Discipline is required. It is possible to save when you are over what age again, Clifton?
Yeah, over 16.
Account?
Yeah, over 16.
Over 16, yes. But if you're below 16, then you would have to have a custodial account or an account with your parent or your guardian, right? So basically, an adult has to open the account with you, not for you, with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So I she by saying, woohoo, thank you, Clifton. So Daniel Williams says she recommends Rich Dad Poor Dad. Missy Beauty says great book, Richest Man in Babylon, and it's very easy to read as well. So we're getting book recommendations, you know. Somebody's saying, what about those students? Sorry, I know the segment is finished, but I think this is a very important question. Somebody's saying, what about those students who don't have parents to guide them? You know,
wonderful question there. That's a golden nugget question, and I think everyone will achieve something great from this. Okay, so in life, you're not going to have people around you who will always be influencing the right way, and you won't have someone who's around you to guide you all the time. So it comes back to the point that I just made earlier in terms of reading. When you associate yourself with the right minds, right, people who have been there, done it, and are very experienced and masters of their craft, if you read their writing, it's a direct link to their thoughts, right, and their actions. And then from there, you'll know how to act, you'll know how to maneuver yourself based on their understanding and your understanding from what you read from their writing. You know, so reading is key, it is critical, it is not gibberish that you will hear from school or teachers or anything like that. It's really the key to becoming wealthy. You understand? The more you know, the more you're able to make the actions, the right actions towards achieving the goals you want. The faster you learn is the faster you earn. Always remember that. All right.
And just before I introduce Amanda, for myself, I grew up basically in a single family home. So my mother was there and my grandmother for part of the period. But neither my mother and my grandmother don't know about finance or about money management in detail, investments or anything like that. What I had to do was, you know, just hearing certain things being mentioned, I had to do some research for myself. Another important thing is that you have to associate with people that are going in, are either already in the direction that you want to go positively, and are going there as well with you. So when you associate yourself with positive people and people that can build you and that you can help to build, you know, somehow you can build a strong network and grow on the back of that.
Yeah, very
So
true.
yeah, man. So thanks again, Clifton. Monroe, man,
Yeah.
big up Monroe.
Yeah, man, no problem, no
It
problem.
was very good. It was very good having you. What I'm going to do is after this, I'm going to contact you, Clifton, and I'm going to make some notes on what you said.
Yeah,
And
no
I'm
problem.
going to put it in a little picture so that we can share on our social media so others can benefit from this outside of the video.
Yeah, sure, no problem at all. No problem at all.
All right. Thanks, Clifton.
All
Now,
right.
moving on to investing. So we have Samanda Tolo, a portfolio advisor at Proven Wealth. That's going to really go through how you start investing, the process, etc. So I'm extremely sure, I'm positive that you guys want to understand how to invest and exactly what investment is. So welcome, Samanda. Samanda, hearing me? Sorry, Samanda, you hearing me? Just in the meantime, why Soti is in the comments giving some really good advice to the teens. I picked up on a few, but the last one that she said was when she was younger, the Sunday Gleaner articles by Oran Hall really helped her. Samaya said she did the JC course with Mr. Hall. So we can probably tell the teens what the JC course is. Welcome, Julian. So Julian Morrison is an analyst at Proven as well. And Julian and I will basically, and Samanda will be having a discussion here. Samanda, are you hearing me now?
Hi, Simon. Hi, guys. Good afternoon. Good evening, rather. Sorry.
Okay, boy, Samanda, you just wake me up a while ago. you wake me up, man. Like coffee. So, oh, Delmar says, big up Mr. Clifton. The man named Mr. Clifton. Man, you know, you can call him Clifton. I'm sure he's cool. So, I'm just going to briefly run through some slides just explaining what are investments and why they are important, and then I'll pass over to Samanda. All right. Also, Julian is on the line. Julian can jump in at any time. So, what is investing and why is it important? So, investing in very brief terms is just putting money down somewhere and expecting to come back and see more money. That to me is, you know, when I first learned the concept at Calabar, you know, I was amazed by it because I knew, so Clifton just spoke about savings, right? Savings, the savings part of it is, okay, you put down money in the bank account, you put down $10 and you expect to go back and say $10, less fees, right? So you expect to go back and see at least the same amount of money that you have there. So though banks do add a little bit of something on your money, you can barely see it. The interest rate that you make at a bank is probably point something percent. It's very low. What investment does, it allows you to put your money somewhere in what we call assets that grow over time, and over time you can get back more money. There's a possibility of getting back more money. So there are two major ways that you can invest. One of the best ways that you can invest is starting your own business, right? So I had a friend when I was at Calabar, when I was in upper six, he was in grade 10. And, you know, one day at rugby practice, I see this man with a big bag walking towards us. He did rugby as well. So I said, brother, where you going with the bag? The one in the bag. When he opened the bag was full of bottled juice. So me I say, yo, who you selling this for? He must say, no man, Simon. Well, no man, Simon. You know, say me do them and I asked permission to have them to sell them while I was in school. And he got permission at the time to sell them in school. So I was like, so how you do that? So apparently he said that on weekends and in some days in the week, he would go home in the evening. He would get a big bucket, get his fruits, etc., get him concentrates, as in the man serious. The man even have, for the chemistry people, that thing that helps to preserve juice. The man even added his own concentration of that. And he crushed his own fruits and made his own juice. He found a bottling company. He got bottles. He sealed them by himself. He found a company that does the labels, developed his own labels and started to sell his juice. So that's really, you know, the start in the business side. But you know, some people may say, boy, Simon, starting the business is a bit much now. The type of business that I want to go into, it's going to require too much money. I want to own a bank, right? But to start a bank, you need a couple $100 million. Another part of investing is owning pieces of somebody else's business. So you can actually start your own business, or you can own a piece of somebody else's business. So for example, me, I'm a finance guy. If I were to start something, it would be an investment firm. At the moment, I can't do that. So investing here is really buying a part of somebody else's business and reaping benefits from it. Why is it important? It's important to start investing from early because children possess a very powerful gift, time. And I know I don't want to disrespect any of you guys and call it children, you know, but you're very young, right? So we have a very important, let me just say we, you know, because I'm young as well. We have a very powerful gift, and that's time. Over time, your money grows larger and larger. So that's something called compounding, the compounding that we'll touch on later. So just to run through it quickly, if you put out down $1 today and come back after 20 years, it's going to be much larger than if you put down $1 and come back after 10 years. Naturally, longer period of time, and it has more time to grow, and the interest grows on everything from before. We are young adults. All right, Ishiba, you are a young adult. So you say. So another reason why it's important to start investing from early is it builds financial discipline that will benefit you further down the road. So investing requires you to sit down, look at the assets before you, and make an educated guess as to what may happen in the future, right? Now, a lot of people that I know that have started investing from early, and we're gonna have a few come on later. So Trevor and David, Ashden, to give their testimonial. Their financial discipline is superb. So I remember Aishiba and somebody else had mentioned, I think it was Delmar, that sometimes when you see something, you just want to buy it even though you don't need it. You see, when you start investing and when you start making gains for yourself and you see how exciting it is sometimes, you are going to want to put more and more money into investing. Trust me. And asset accumulation is really just getting assets over time. And we'll touch on that later. So what are stocks or shares? So remember I said before, investing is basically buying pieces of other people's company. So imagine if somebody else's company is a pizza, a stock or share would be a slice of that pizza. So when you're buying piece of somebody else's company, you are literally buying a percentage of it. So if 100% represents the entire business, and you go and say, okay, I want to buy 1%, you are now a part owner of that business. So a share is a unit of investment that represents legal ownership of a company. This just means that you legally own the company, right? You are a shareholder. Usually when companies list for the first time, you guys may hear this is called an initial public offering. So there are many companies that are what we call private, which means that the people that own them, one, are usually just family and friends, and two, they are not traded on what we call a stock exchange or a secondary market. So we're going to go to that, right? So let's look at the stock market and then come back to that. So we spoke about stocks and shares. We spoke about stocks and shares before, right? So guys, think of a pizza. Think of a Domino's pizza because it's cheaper, right? No, sorry, Little Caesars, cheaper, $1,000 for it. And think of that pizza broken up into 8 slices. The pizza is the company. Each slice is a share or stock, right? Now, if let's say that you bought a share of that company and you say, you know what, I don't want this share anymore. Where do you go to sell it? So you usually go to sell this in what we call the stock market. So this is literally, if anybody has ever been to Coronation Market, it's literally where a network of buyers and sellers of the same stocks and shares come. So if you bought pizza company A, right? And you said, boy, I don't want this slice of pizza anymore. And then David, you can go to the stock market and then David may see and say, yo, where you do the stock market? And he might say, you know what? I'm here because I want a slice of pizza. Pizza company. I say, well, you know what? I have a slice that I don't want, and I am willing to sell this to you. The difference with the stock market and the actual marketplace, though, is that the stock market is not necessarily a physical place, right? The stock market is like a system. So, for example, when the market opens in a day, you can sign into the stock market. So you don't necessarily know who's buying the slice of pizza from you, right? And they don't know who they're buying it from, right? So that's some of the major differences. Jamaica's stock exchange, Jamaica's stock market is called the Jamaica Stock Exchange, right? So if you want to buy and sell shares or stocks in Jamaica, you buy and sell them on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And I just put a note down there. You might know of other stock exchanges. You might have heard them in movies, etc. The NYSE, NASDAQ, etc. So just to go back up to the point that we were making before. So I won't touch on the types of shares, but stock tickers. So you have some listed companies, and tell me if you guys have ever heard of these companies. Berger Paints. Berger Paints is a listed company. So that means if you want to become a part owner of Berger Paints, you can go on the Jamaica Stock Exchange and try to buy Berger shares from somebody else that already owns it. However, on the stock exchange system, you know, it would be very onerous to put up these long names all the time. So for example, instead of saying Berger Paints, they usually abbreviate it, and it's what we call a stock ticker. It's like a ticker, remember that, ticker. So for Berger Paints, the stock ticker is BRG. For Jamaica Broilers Group, guys, Jamaica Broilers make best dressed chicken. Their stock ticker is JBG. And for the people that love them Jack mackerel, that's made by Grace Kennedy Limited, their ticker is GK. It's important to know these tickers because when you go on the stock exchange, they will use these tickers a lot, right? All right, so we know what a stock market, we know what our shares. Now, as usual and as humans are, you want to know what's in it for me, right? How am I going to benefit from this, Simon? You know? So let's say that you bought Pizza Inc., right? You are now a shareholder of Pizza Inc. When Pizza Inc. sells a pizza and they make a profit, they have the choice of sharing that profit with you as a shareholder. Remember, you own the company, you know. So you have some form of claim on the profits that the company makes. So the company Pizza Inc. may very well say, look, we've been making a lot of money and we are going to pay our shareholders what they call a dividend, right? So dividend, think of a dividend as the percentage of profits that you make. So for the guys that buy a lot of Jack mackerel, right? And you know, every time you go to the supermarket, you have to take up, or the market with your parents, you have to take up your 6 spicy thing on tin of mackerel, the small one them, right? And you say, boy, you know, I spend a lot of money on Grace Kennedy. One of the things that people do, you know, is they say, look, I want to buy shares in this company. I want to buy shares in this company because I am so used to seeing the brand. I buy their products almost every week and I love their products and I'm spending a lot of money with them and I want to get some money back, right? The next way that you can benefit from owning shares is through the growth in the value of those shares, right? So what do I mean by this? Give me a sec, let me find, okay. All right, so the chart is not there. So let's say that you bought, remember, let's go back to the pizza, guys. You have a slice of pizza and there are of 1 slice of the 8 slices, right? You bought your pizza for $1, right? You spent $1 on your pizza, right? When you go to the market or to the stock market on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, you decide that, look, I don't really like pizza anymore. I'm vegan, and this pizza is Meat Lover's Pizza. I want to sell my slice of pizza. You go on the market and you see that somebody wants to buy the slice of pizza because they really love Meat Lover's Pizza. and they're willing to buy the pizza from you for $2. Remember, you only bought it for $1, you know. So immediately, as you sell that pizza to the person, you are making profit of $2 minus the $1. So the $2 that you sold it for minus the $1 that you bought it for. So this is another way in which you can benefit, because generally for good companies, the share price tends to go up over time, right? And over time, the value of your shares of a good company that is profitable and growing usually goes up as well. The third reason is, it's less quantitative. It has less to do with maths and more to do with, how you feel owning that company. So let's say that you think that Scotiabank has a lot of fees that you are tired of paying, right? Them have too much fees. Every time you go for draw your card, them charge you. Every time you go for do etc., them charge you. And you say, you know what? I want to participate in the growth of this company, and I want to make my voice heard. What you can do, is you can buy shares in Scotia. So outside of making dividends, remember we said dividends is income or a percentage of the profits that they make, you can also participate in the growth of the company. So let's think about a company that you actually like their product. So let's say Creamy. Let's say Creamy was listed. You know what, better yet, let's say Calabar was a listed company, meaning that you could become a shareholder in Calabar. And you realize that, Chris Taylor decided that he wanted to stay at Calabar for 7 more years. And ISA actually allows that. And you say, you know what? I think Chris are going to make Calabar win champs for at least 5 more years. I want to participate in all of this, and I want to become a part of this. I want to benefit from Calabar growing over the years. You can just become a shareholder of Calabar and participate in their growth, right? I saw this mentioned in the comments briefly, and I wanted to touch on it briefly. So with higher risk, with a demand for higher return, you need to understand that the amount of risk that you're taking on is going to increase. For opportunities that are low risk, those opportunities usually come with a low level of return. And for opportunities that are higher risk, they come with a higher level of return to compensate you for taking on that risk. So hold on, I just caught a comment. Justin says, I hate to take chances, and that's what investing is all about. So that may be a restriction for you. What I may say, Justin, is usually when you go into your broker, you know what? I'm going to stick that question, and then when Samantha comes on, we're going to tackle it. All right? So Justin doesn't like taking chances, and that's what investment is all about. So we're going to jump into that.
Yes, Simon.
Yeah, man, Julian.
Just to touch on that point briefly, you can think about investing almost like an exam. So if you want a better result from the investment experience, that will require better preparation, right? So for an exam, if you want an A, you're gonna put in an A-level, A quality type of preparation. But if you put in a D quality type of preparation, that's the result you will get. So yes, the investment in and of itself will have an innate level of return for the level of risk. But in order to extract more value from the investment experience, the key is to put in a certain level of preparation. And what do we mean? Research. You have to read. When you understand the business more, there are more ways you as an investor can see that this business can give you value. So that's another way. Instead of giving up, we can actually look deeper into the business and increase our knowledge. And that's why Stocks on the Rocks is here. It's really to help investors to prepare better so that they can actually extract more from what is available.
Julian, also, they're not supposed to solely rely on their advisors to give them information. If an advisor puts something to you, ensure that you go ahead and do your necessary research to know what you are investing in. Because you have some clients or investors, rather, they wait on advisors to give them, to tell them what to invest in. And when whatever, or the company or something goes wrong, the company goes belly up or something goes wrong, they blame the advisor. Well, when in fact you should have done your research too to know whether or not you want to invest in this company, or you should invest in this company rather.
Yeah, the client is a boss. The broker works for the client. The client doesn't work for the broker.
You know, and I just wanted to touch, you know, some people might say, you know, Samantha, but Samantha, my child is 12, or, you know, I am 12. Won't be no more research and then go talk to advisor and all of that. I want to say, you know, I have a friend who she was upgrading her iPhone, right? To a new iPhone. And, you know, she wanted to give her, I think it was her nephew. But she said, you know what? I'm going to kind of test him a bit. So I'm going to give him the phone, but I'm going to give him an incentive for the phone. So she said to him, you know, I want you to tell me, and he was, I think he was 9 or 10. I think he was 9 or 10. I want you to tell me 3 companies that you would buy on the stock exchange. And she gave him a time period, and she said, you're going to have to present to me and tell me, you know, what about these companies. And she said that one day his mother called her and she said, boy, I don't know what you're doing about this child. Even drop asleep with a tablet in his hand on the stock exchange website researching. And when he came back to her with little scribbles on a piece of paper, Julian and Samantha, he chose Carb Cement, Fontana, and another one, I think it was NCB, but I'm not sure. So Julian and Samantha would tell you that, I mean, this is about a year ago. Those would have been good choices, you know, and this child was 9 or 10. So I wanted to just let you guys know that you can definitely learn about investing and about stocks and all of that. Julian?
Yes, Simon.
Since you all know, I don't want to throw you in the fire. You want to just jump into the risk of the risk of owning shares?
Okay. So I'll speak from it. I speak about it from a bird's eye view. So what we notice is that in a market, we have buying and selling happening just about every day that the market is open. And because there are people buying and selling, that will cause the price of the stock to fluctuate, meaning that it will move up and down because all of this buying and selling is taking place. However, that doesn't mean that the investment is good or bad, because as Simon mentioned before, if the company has good characteristics, it's profitable, it's under good management, it's making good strategic decisions, you see them introducing new products, you see them entering new markets and so on. These are the things that allow a company to increase in value over time. And what we find is that when a company increases in value, the price trails it, or the price moves in a similar direction over time. So that is the main premise upon which we recommend to investors that investing in stocks requires some patience, because the daily movement sometimes can make us nervous. You buy something at $6.50 today, and then it moved down to $4 tomorrow, and you say, boy, I can't believe, because I just bought something and then it dipped. Well, as we mentioned before, it's just because of other players on the market buying and selling, which is natural. but the key is to study the characteristics of the business, understanding how it is that they make money. Is it a business that can withstand a recession, or is it a business that moves with the state of the economy? Because some businesses move very closely with the economy. For example, a Carib Cement. Now that there's a recession, we'll find that there's less construction that will take place relative to in a period where there's an upswing. And because of that, we're going to see a change in the amount of sales. But there are other businesses like large consumables producers. For example, Grace Kennedy. Regardless of the state of the economy, people are going to buy their jack mackerel, like Simon mentioned. So we have to understand how companies make money, apply the patience, and just look a little deeper. But one of the key risks is naturally the upward and downward movement and having the discipline to actually ride that out. Another risk is the fact that the future is not a guarantee. So we can study the characteristics of a business, but there can always be an external event that can fundamentally change the direction of the business. For example, they can get bought out by another entity and the management changes, and that could take the business down a different path. There could be a situation where the business might borrow too much, and because their debt is high, something else happens. So for example, they had a bad financial year because of the weather, and those two things cause the business to face immense stress. So these are some of the factors that come with investing in stocks, because with stocks, it takes a certain level of intimacy and patience to really allow the investment value to play out. It takes a while to play out. It takes a while to materialize because of all the things that can happen in the future, which are uncertain. So we have a saying where we say the past is a fact, but the future is an opinion, because we can reasonably predict the past or certain aspects of the past to happen again. But as we know with life, anything can happen at any time, and that also applies to companies. So we would want to buy into companies that are worth taking that risk. You're going to look at companies and say to yourself, boy, this is a company I'm worth going into the future with. So it takes a certain level of confidence and conviction to make that kind of investment. And that conviction has to be backed by what we mentioned before, studying the characteristics, looking at the research, ensuring that we're putting the dots together so that we're more sure about the future of the business. So we're not going to be 100% sure, but we can increase how sure we are by just looking a little bit closer, right, Simon?
Yeah, man, definitely. Julian, I have a question for you in the comments. Well, two questions really, but I just wanted to pause, guys. Guys that are on the YouTube stream, please take a second and subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, please like and subscribe the video. And if you're in any groups where you think that this information may benefit others, please share with them. I see some really good information happening in the comments. Thanks Jermaine, for helping out in the comment section. The question to you, Julian, it says people always talk about research. How are people who are complete novices to investing supposed to know what to look for in their research on investing or into companies?
Okay, so when we talk about research, it's not that we're asking investors to become research analysts, because there are different aspects of research. So research might sound like a highfalutin or academic term, but what we're really encouraging investors to do is to look close at the characteristics. So let's forget about stocks for a little bit and think about something else. Let's think about a job and candidates who are applying for the job. Now, let's say, for example, the job is to be a plant manager. Now, a plant manager has to have certain core competencies in order to function in that role. They would need to have a certain level of experience, educational background, and also demonstrate certain traits about their character. so that you can know whether or not the person is honest or reliable. So based on the job, you know, or you have an idea of what it is you're looking for. So there are many people who will apply for this role because there are many people who simply just want a job, any job that comes up. But it's up to the employer now to look across that span of candidates and then sift out the best candidate based on the characteristics that they are looking for. So similarly, that discipline that we apply to selecting someone for a role is the same attitude that we take to selecting companies for our portfolio. So what are some of the characteristics? Let's go over this again. It's good to look at companies that have a strong track record. So what we look at is how long they've been around. This is not a guarantee, but more often than not, if a company has lasted more than 25 years in the Jamaican economic landscape, it means that they would have had a certain level of financial acumen. Why is that? We know that Jamaica has been through several economic crises, both locally and internationally. It's been through the global financial crisis of 2008. It's currently going through the COVID-19 pandemic and the associated recession. It went through FinSec and so on. And there are many companies that have lasted through those periods. So those are some indicators to show that the company is under good management, right? That's the first area to look because it is management that makes companies perform. The second area is to look at the competitive profile. Is this company an industry leader? Is this company gaining market share? Now, we might not have all the data to look at whether or not a company is number 1 or number 2 or number 5, but we can actually understand the competitive profile by looking at where the products are placed in the supermarket. When it's placed on a certain shelf, you can tell whether or not it has market leadership or not. Usually, products that are at the bottom of the shelf, it means that you'll find the newer products or the less established products at the bottom and the more established products at the top or in a higher level of visibility, because supermarkets give preferential treatment to companies that are actually leaders. They're the ones that can afford that space, right? Another area to look, are they advertising? Another area to look, how many people do you know that actually use this product? Simple anecdotal pieces of information can help us to understand a company's competitive profile. Another area to look, we can look at the financial statements, can see whether or not they're making profits. And what we want to do is not just look at one period, but to look across periods. So we look at 2017's performance, 2018's performance, 2019 performance, and then we'll get a profile of how that company is performing over time. So we can look at maybe 5 years and see how the company has been performing over the 5 years. And we'll say, okay, based on what this company has shown over this 5-year period, I'm confident to know that they're either A, willing and able to make it through this pandemic, and B, be actually able to not just pull through, but make a profit again. So those are some key areas that retail investors can look at. We don't need to be financial analysts and all of those things. Those are some key areas that we can tackle if we want to benefit from investing by selecting the stronger companies.
And Julian, for those that are probably overwhelmed by the amount of information, 2 things. So this video will be here. After this, I'm going to save it on YouTube so you can always come back and watch. And 2, when we start talking to Samanda, we're going to see actually how you're going to start. I always say the hardest part of this investing thing is really just starting, and then everything else will come on over time. So what we have here is a mock stock. Sorry,
hold
Julian.
on, Simo. Sorry to interrupt you, but just to review what we just discussed, what would you say is a key area that makes Sagicor an interesting company to look at, Simon? Just some things off the top of your head. What makes Sagicor interesting?
All right,
Yeah.
so interesting. The first thing that comes off the top of my head, if I was a high schooler, I see Sagicor everywhere.
Right.
Right? So when I'm in New Kingston, Sagicor look like them own every building in Kingston. When I'm on the highway going to Ochi, I see Sagicor strong. When a certain part of the year, Sagicor Sigma dominates, thousands of people go to jog. I know all of like for jog. So the first thing that comes to my mind is Sagicor probably is in a lot of real estate. They probably own a lot of buildings around the place. And if I am a bit more exposed, then I would know about the insurance part. But the first thing that really comes to my mind is the brand.
And what about Supreme Ventures, Simon? We see that they always have ads, even when we're watching important things like World Cup. Supreme Ventures will pop up, and that shows advertising power.
In the Olympics, I don't remember if I bowled or no. I think it was a 200 meter. With Bolt, Weir and the Jago youth man, Wolf.
Yeah, Johan.
Yeah, man, Johan. Sorry, why am I forget Johan name? Johan.
Yeah,
and as the race I go start, I don't remember if it was that race specifically. Supreme Ventures don't pop up on the screen, man.
Yeah.
And make the race small. And this was what back in the day. So back in the day, I was like, no man, this company Supreme Ventures, they must have a whole heap of money.
Yeah, because that's prime advertising.
Minimize athletics. You know, so a lot of these things can actually make you get interested initially. So I'm going to actually jump on another thing that actually make a lot of people get interested. So these are just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 companies that are listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange. I did a mock portfolio, which means that I just did an Excel sheet and I assumed that I bought each of these in January 2015. Now, this thing was done last year. And if you realize $100,000 in January 2015 invested turned into $1.3 million in a little under 5 years, right? Now we are going through a time where this is down. This $1.3 billion, the market has been affected by the coronavirus, as every parts of the economy is, sorry. And this is less than $1.3 billion now, but certainly it's a lot more than $100,000, right? So this is one thing that, you know, entices people. And we usually say, boy, look to invest over a period of time from 3 to 5 years. There are different investment strategies, but take your time and learn, and then you can do that over time. Sorry, Julian, we're running a bit on time, so I just wanted to go along. So I said that already. So Samantha.
Simon, Simon, just
yes.
Remember the unit trust for clients, for persons that are kind of not so much interested in picking their own stocks. They can opt to take up the unit trust. The unit trust is
all right. You know what, Samantha? I'm gonna leave that to you. So the first question, well, we've been getting, Delmar asks, where can I get to open this account? Can I walk into Grace Kennedy and say I want to buy shares? Can I walk into Carib Cement and say that, hey, I want to buy shares? How do I get to buy shares?
Hi, Delmar. Thank you for that question. Thank you for that question, Delmar. So Jamaica has roughly 8 to 10 stock brokerage companies rather, right, Simon?
Yes, around that,
yeah. So no, you cannot walk into SVA into Supreme Ventures and say, hey, I want to purchase X amount of shares in your company. No, you have to go through a stock brokerage company, right? For example, you have like Proven, you have JMMB, you have Barita. Cool. You can go to any one of those, but there are requirements to open those accounts. So for persons over 18, Your requirements are ID, TRN, proof of address. Some companies request 3 payslip or proof of income, and also 2 references. Some companies would specify the references. So I would encourage you to ensure that you have the information of an attorney or a JP, which is their name, full name, number, address, and the capacity, either attorney or JP, and how long you would have known them. Reason for this is to do background checks on you, and background checks is to avoid certain type of situations like money laundering and stuff like that. They just want to know if you're a good person, you know, good enough to be a part of their company, their family. For persons under 18, it's simple. We only need like your birth certificate, a TRN. Of course, if you're 0 to 18 right now in this day and age, you can get a TRN, your passport, and the principal holder on the account has to be an adult. So either your cousin, your mother, your friend, you have to have a principal holder on the account, which is over 18, because you are deemed underage, right? For persons over, for Simon, can you scroll down a little?
Oh, you're not seeing it?
Simon, you hear me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you.
All right, so for US citizens, if you're not a Jamaican and you're a US citizen, there are special requirements, right? You'd have to provide your SSN. It is mandatory for you to provide your SSN and fill out a W-9 form. Simon, can you show them what a W-9 form looks like? This is what the W-9 form looks like, basically. Right? So you fill out the necessary information, you fill out your tax, your SSN, which is, it's the same thing as TRN. It is the same thing as the TRN. But if you're a US citizen, you would know what a SSN is. And you definitely have to provide a copy of this SSN as well.
Sorry, Samantha, you can continue. I just have, a little. Hello?
Simon?
Yeah, man. Are you seeing what's going on?
Yeah, I'm seeing the W-9 form on the screen.
Okay, good. So scroll back up.
All right. We're back?
Yeah, man, we're back. Sorry about that.
All right, cool. So I don't know where I would left off. Where I should pick up from? Can you tell me, Simon?
Yeah, so sorry. So you were saying the W-9 form is required for people that are US citizens.
US citizens, right.
You had given some information about whether you're 0 to 18. So if you're 0 to 18, you need these things. If you're 18 and over, you need these things.
All right, cool. This webinar is specifically for teens, right? And I'm assuming teens are between the age of 13 and 18. As such, you are required to have an adult as a joint holder on your account. You alone cannot go into JMMB and say, I want to open a brokerage account. No, you have to have an adult with you. And as such, there are requirements for this adult, which I just outlined above, and also there are requirements for you. Some companies, I think Mayberry require for, if you're, I think between between 16 and 18, you're required to have a proof of address, which is a letter signed and stamped by a JP. But other brokerage houses like Proven or JMMB, that is not a requirement. Also, you have some brokerage companies that have a minimum requirement, right? Not everybody, but most have a minimum requirement, and there is also a minimum requirement for specific products. For example, unit trust. I'd have mentioned that to Simon earlier. Unit trust, well, for Proven, I know their minimum requirement to get into their unit trust is 200,000 J, 2,000 US. So it all depends on what you can afford as well in determining which brokerage company you are going to walk in to open this brokerage account, right? So when you're shopping around, that's one of the questions you should be asking. What is the minimum requirement to open an account with you guys? Because I'm sure not everybody will be able to afford this minimum amount, right?
Okay, so somebody's asking, and I guess they didn't specify, so this is thrown out to Julian or Samantha. They're asking, what are unit trusts? Julian? All right, I'm not hearing other guys, so I'll take a hit at it. So
Simon?
Yeah, Samantha.
So unit trusts is a pool that is backed by different type of assets. For example, stocks. So a unit trust is backed by different stocks. So the fund managers would buy different stocks and pool them, and basically, in a nutshell, layman term, they'll pool them and sell it as a specific security. So you would buy units in the fund.
Okay, so instead of having to go there and choose the stocks for yourself, you can just contribute money towards a unit trust, and then the broker or the brokerage house will invest that money for you.
But
right?
bear in mind, Simon, bear in mind, some people don't understand that with a unit trust, you're buying units in the fund, just like how you buy the stock units in a company, shares in a company, because remember, this is calculated on price. So the unit trust is affected by price movement, just like a stock.
Oh, excellent. I think this is an opportune time to stay on the line, Samantha.
Simon,
So
we don't want to delve deep into this and tell them about NAV and bring them all over the place.
yeah, man. So we don't need to go too deep in this episode. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring in our first. So we have testimonials. Testimonials is really just really young people that started to invest from a very young age. The first one that we have is David.
Simon, and
yes.
Next I realized I left out. So bear in mind, not everybody is a US citizen or a Jamaican. We might have persons on the line that come from Barbados or somewhere else in the world. The requirements are the same, just that you would have to provide your local information. You wouldn't have to fill out any W-9 because you're not a US citizen. That is specific for US citizens.
So W-9 is only for US citizens.
Only for US. That is the tax declaration. That is to prevent US citizens from evading tax, right?
Understood. I get it, man. I want to bring in David now, though, to kind of support with his experience in investing. So for the testimonials, we're really just doing about 3 minutes each. We're really just doing about 3 minutes each. David, are you there?
I'm here. I'm just waiting on you.
All right, so David, you can just briefly introduce yourself and just, tell us how you started your investment journey. Be sure to mention your age.
All right. Good night, everyone. I'm David Rose, 22. Started investing at 18 specifically. So what had happened was that I'd always heard about investing, wanted to get in, but here's the thing about it. My mom had a particular affiliation to a particular broker, and that broker said the minimum opening amount was 25,000 Jamaican dollars. No, at that time I was in sixth form. As a student who has never done a summer job before, where am I going to get that money? Luckily, I actually got a summer job in July 2016 through a classmate's parent. And when I got my first paycheck, went to JMB and opened my first brokerage account. And then when I got my second paycheck, I went to Sagicor and opened my second brokerage account. Reason being, I originally intended to use my JMB account as my active trading account and my Sagicor account as my holding account. And there's a difference between that. So meaning one account, you just don't look at it. It's mainly just to hold stuff for the long term. You just keep accumulating and adding there. The other brokerage account would just be for, purposes to trade in a particular time frame that suits you. So if you realize that you can buy a stock now for $1 today and sell the next month for $5, then that would work for me. However, I ended up realizing that Sagicor's platform through JTrader Pro was relatively more flexible, so it switched. So my JMB account is now my holding account, and my Sagicor account is my main trading account. The investing journey has been quite interesting. So less than a month after opening my first account, I got my first dividend check, and at the time that was for Nosted Express. I bought Nosted Express for $29, and that was in August 2016. When February 2017 came around, I was in Cape. My laptop needed to get fixed, and it was $5,000. I didn't have any liquid cash, and when I talk about liquidity, everyone, I'm talking about the availability for cash on hand or the ability to convert cash immediately. So what I had to do was I had to sell Nosted Express. I was at $29, but it's at $25. So collected my 8% gain and fixed my laptop. But here's the funny thing about it. By the time May came, Nosted Express I went $60, and it also had a stock split subsequently after. So if I didn't have to actually sell that stock, I'd have actually made more than 100% on my money in less than a year, in less than 7 months at best. That was my first lesson as it relates to, timing does matter. And since then, I've been continuing investing in different companies. And what I've also been doing is meeting members of corporate Jamaica. So when you actually buy shares in a company, you are a part owner. I'm not sure the persons actually get this. You actually have ownership in the company, even if it's small. So when you have ownership in this company, you have particular rights. So you can actually attend a company's annual general meeting, which is held once every year, as it's termed, to vote on resolutions, ask management questions. So if you are wondering why the company spent more money this year, you can ask them. If you're interested in what they're going to do for the future, you can ask them. And that's a part of how the journey is. So as a result of investing, I've learned a lot more about the general world and space as to how things operate. So when persons say, oh, what is proven? First thing persons think of is proven wealth. But Proven Investments Limited itself, which is a listed company, is actually a holding company, and Proven Wealth is a subsidiary. And that's how I realized that Sagicor Group Jamaica owns Sagicor Life, Sagicor Bank, Sagicor Investments. That's how I realized that Creamy's owners are the same owners that persons that make Devon House ice cream. And just by investing and reading annual reports, talking with persons and doing my research, I become more aware of how things operate and how closely connected things are around me. So I'm pretty sure Simon wants to finish up right now because I probably gone over 3 minutes, but
Thanks for that, David. I think one of the most impressive things about David, apart from him being a Calabar old boy.
I'm not Calabar into JC.
It's a joke. It's a joke. He went to JC. Apart from that, David is actually a science major at UA. And David has come a significant way in learning finance, even reaching the point where I think David now is actually suggesting changes to actual companies as to things that they need to change and to get better. So you know that's really one of the things that I admire about him. Next, quickly,
a small point, I'd Simon. Final point. I'm never done an accounting class, guys, and I actually know accounting now. Didn't get any YouTube, any personal help. Reading those financial statements that people say you hate, you can teach yourself the basics, and eventually, in my case, you can actually discover errors.
So, David, there's one question actually in the comments I want you to answer because nobody's going to think you are biased, right? So, Delmar is asking which brokerage company is the best for a teen who is new to this and not rich?
All right. So, I'll be
Quickly,
objective and
David,
give you the
quickly.
facts. So, you have Sagicor, Proven, MVL, and those are ones I can call on the top of my head because the reason why I said those companies specifically is because they have low opening amount. Sagicor, this is basically $0. MVL 100 units, Proven 100 units, JMB is about $10,000, and the different brokerage firms are the different opening amounts. But those are the lowest opening amounts.
So, David,
Sagicor,
if you were to choose two of them,
Sagicor,
which one do you think would be the best for teens? So which one do you think overall would be the best for a starter account?
For a starter account, Sagicor, and that's mainly due to the lower fees and relative ease towards getting to the market itself through JTrader Pro.
All right, thanks, David. So I hope you guys heard that. So David listed a few companies. He stated the companies that he uses, and he said, you know, overall, he thinks for teens who, as Delmar said, are not rich, Sagicor may be the best alternative overall. Ashidin, I know you wanted to give a quick 2-minute.
Simon, I beg to differ. Simon, I beg to differ.
All right, Samanda, why you beg to differ?
I'd say Barito. They have a lower minimum. Julian agreed as well. They have a lower minimum, and also you can get the guidance from an advisor there. I mean, Proven is the best, but in that regard, I'd say Barito.
What's
opening I will enter this conversation because you guys know what I will say. But what I'll say is that you don't have to have one account. That's one. And two, guys, you can do some walking for yourself. So go up to Barita, go up to Sagicor, go up to JMB. It so happens that all of them are in one area in New Kingston, one general area. And you can ask them
questions. You don't have to walk, you can call.
Yes.
Can email.
I forgot to say social distancing time now. Sorry, sorry.
Most of the companies have they have websites that you can go on and log your questions and have them answered in less than a day or so. You know.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you so much, Amanda. So that's a key point, guys. You know, clearly I'm an old man, me I talk about work. So you can just check out the website of these companies that they stated, or you can check out, you can just call them. I just keep in mind, guys, we have about 10 minutes left. We started 10 minutes late, so we have about 10 to 15 minutes left. At the end of this, we'll be asking some questions and you guys will have a chance to win $10,000. So 3 people will have a chance to win $10,000 to go towards starting their investment account. Okay? All right. So yes, Soti, don't, sorry, repeat, Samantha.
interjection. Also, guys, some of these brokerage company, you can go to their website and submit your applications. So you don't have to go in branch. You don't really have to go in branch right now. Thank God for technology.
Excellent point. And thank God for that. Thank God for that. So if you guys are over the limit and you have the requirements, you can apply online. If you are under the age requirement and you need an adult, you and your parent can apply online, right? Just to jump to Ashdane quickly, Ashdane, you wanted to give a 2-minute on how you started investing?
Well, I can go for a little bit less than 2 minutes. So my my story is pretty simple, right? So when I started at 18 years old, I'm 23 now actually. I never had a job or anything like that. But what I had was any little money that my parents would give to me. I remember when I started a similar account to what David has. Mine was at Sagicor also. I remember buying the first two stocks that I ever bought was Supreme Ventures Limited as well as Carreras. Supreme Ventures, obviously, I never really did any research or anything like that, but based on what you said earlier regarding the Olympics, etc., and Supreme Ventures have all of the broadcasting rights, I say, yo, this is a powerful company. You know what I mean? And then it's the same for Carreras now. Carreras made cigarettes, even though smoking is very, very bad, right? But I mean, they're making a lot of money. My grandfather used to be a heavy smoker at the time, so I know I said that, yo, this company must be making a lot of money, and there's longevity to it because I wanted to buy strong companies that I wouldn't necessarily lose my money. You know, I wanted to do less risky, more value, and that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. So okay. And you know, I don't really have a story. I invest when I turn big man. So you know what we are doing now, and I guess that's the benefit of what we are doing now. What we are doing now, we want you guys to start investing earlier because we know the benefits that will accrue to you, right? So we want you, this generation, to say, look, I started investing when I was a teenager, and know that I left you, I was able to do this, or etc. etc. Right? We just want you to start from early, or at the very least start asking these questions from early. So the same questions I asked tonight, start asking them from early. What I'll do now is I will pass over to Makeda.
Hey, Simon, what's up?
Yeah, man, I'll pass over to Makeda to ask the questions as it pertains to winning the gift certificates. So just to give you some background, the gift certificates are coming from 3 places. So we have one from Barita Investments, we have one from JMB Investments, and we have one that is being personally donated by Trevon Morris, who, along with David, was a past stock exchange competition winner. So you know they started investing very early. So Makeda, over to you.
Hi, good night, guys. So for the first gift cert for the JMB one, valued at 10,000, I believe, Simon.
Yes.
We are asking you to list 3 companies that's listed on the Junior Stock Exchange.
And this is in listed on the stock exchange. We never really mentioned the difference, you know.
All right, listed on the stock exchange, and we're gonna ask you to comment in the YouTube section.
Okay, so the first person, or the first teen/parent here, parent with a teen, that David, no, you cannot play. First one to comment 3 companies that are listed on the stock exchange will win the JMB gift certificate for $10,000 to go towards the investment investing.
To go towards opening your investment account. The second question.
All right, so Keely, hold on. So Keely man JA, boy, you listen one company. So Shamar Mundell. Shamar Mundell listed FTNA. No man, Shamar sound like him cheat, you know. I know all of the tick of them. So Shamar listed FTNA, GENAC, and SVL. Guys, remember the requirement is you have to be a teenager or a parent that is going to invest as a teenager. So what I'm seeing here is that Shamar is first, Bakeda.
All right, so we have Shamar Mundell for the German.
You can just message our YouTube page or message us on Twitter, and we will reach out to you. Boy, people still listing companies, man.
So we have our first winner, Shamar Mundell, and we're gonna have him contact us by YouTube or send an email to.
You can send an email to stocksontherocksfl@gmail.com. So I'm gonna put that email address in the comments now. Makeda, just give me a second. Let me put the email address in the comments, please. All right. So you can, Shamar, you can just email us at that email or contact us on Twitter, YouTube, or Instagram. You can go on now, Makeda.
Question number 2. In the first segment, a particular book was suggested by Clifton. We're gonna ask you to comment what was the name of that book he suggested reading.
Leafy says, I know it. That's not the name of the book.
So I'm gonna repeat the question. What was the name of the book suggested or recommended by Clifton in section 1 for us all to read?
All right. So hold on. So Naya Shiri, I just want to repeat, guys, you have to be a teen or a parent who join with their teen. So Makeda Shamar is saying, I'm not a teen. However, is it possible for me to pass on the price to one of my students? What do you think, Makeda?
I think that we would prefer to give the teens on the live.
All right, sorry, Shamar. So we are going to, for question 1, we're going to move to the next person that answered after Shamar. But Shamar, I'm happy that you joined, and I hope that you share with your students. You know, is Ian, and I'm going to have to ask, I see Iam Archan.
Daniel isn't a teen?
Sorry, repeat.
Daniel Williams isn't a teen?
No, Daniel was after. So I'm seeing the live feed.
Yeah, I see Daniel after Nia Shiri.
All right, you know what? Use what you see. So probably I'm seeing something there different.
So we're gonna ask, is Daniel Williams a teenager or the parent of a teenager that's tuned in?
I can comment. Daniel is technically a teen.
Technically.
How so?
Let me just
technically.
Give me a second. I'll just send the detail. I'll just confirm for you.
Technically.
Yo, David, a joke, I know. David. How
I
Daniel live
confirm. I
technically
confirm.
guaranteed?
How old is Daniel?
That's I'm confirming right now. Daniel
David,
is
a joke, I am
18
tell
this
about
year.
the see man them, you know.
Daniel
18
is
this
18 this year?
Yes, he's a chess player, so he actually has a confirmed record online.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, David.
I
So we
listen
have
to
our
Simon right
second.
now.
So Daniel is a teen.
Daniel is a teen and the winner of our second prize, which is
No man,
10,000.
Daniel was the first one, you know. Remember who passed from Shamar?
Isn't the second gift certificate? No?
Oh, so who giving the first one?
The first one, oh, we passed from Mundell.
Yes.
Okay, so Daniel Williams is the winner of our first gift cert, which is 10,000 valued, sorry, at 10,000 JMD, courtesy of JMMB.
All right. So who won the second one?
So we'll ask. So we'll ask a second question.
Boy, you know, I think we're probably being a bit unfair to Iam Archan because Iam was first after Shamar and he was right after. So is Iam Archan, if you're still on, and why may I have to ask if you guys are teens, but I just want to clarify. So Iam, Iam Archan, well, Iam can reach out to us in the comments or by email. And if Iam is not a teen or a parent of a teen online, okay, Iam said he's still here. And he said, sir, call me sir. So he must be a teen. Because nobody no call me sir in a good while. Like an old man. Makeda, you can go on with the third one. So the first one, just to clarify, Makeda, you said the first one is JMMB.
The first one is JMMB, and the winner is EM Archer. And our second one was won by Daniel Williams, and that's the Barita gift cert.
Yes, so Daniel won it for Barita, Iam for JMMB. Welcome to the JMMB family, Iam. If you're not already a part of it. And also welcome to the Barita family. I believe I'm still a shareholder as well, and an account holder. So welcome. So next question, Makeda.
So our third and final question, courtesy of Stocks on the Rocks.
Makeda, you are going to the question like that.
Well, no. I was going to drum roll in a Simon, but hold on.
Oh, you're not going to drum roll? All right, sorry.
Drum roll.
All right, so all the teens get ready for this, you know. I want one of the active teens, them we are coming from for the top to win this one. All right?
All right.
Get ready.
Drum roll. Third and final question. One, define what a ticker is and give two tickers that's presently on the stock exchange.
Ooh, that's not challenging.
Yes, Tanara, yes. Somebody who's 19 is also a teenager. So you can comment. So Makeda said define what a ticker is and name two tickers that trade on the stock exchange. Quick fingers, what is a ticker? And name two tickers that trade on the stock exchange. Make sure so the ticker right. All right, so Delmar
is that
so I see Delmar, I see Sherry. So Delmar says, well, you're seeing it right, Makeda?
Yeah, Delmar says a ticker is a company name. I guess like GK and no.
GK and KW. So the tickers are right, but are you willing to accept his definition?
No, we wanted it a little bit more uniquely defined.
Sorry, Delmar. Makeda say you were a bit short on that one. You know, Sheree said it's a shortening for a name. So and she said like B-O, you said BGR.
Oh.
Sorry, Sheree, sorry. So Rhea Brathwaite said a ticker is an acronym representing a listed company, such as JBG and FTNA.
Are we going with that one, Simon? I believe.
Yeah, that one looks good to me. That one looks good to me. So it looks good to me.
I agree.
What you guys think?
I agree.
Oh yeah, we have to ask David, you know, because David had the data done.
No, I agree. It's actually a correct definition, and the ticker symbols are correct.
Okay. All right. So Rhea Brathwaite. Hold on. I wanted to get an idea. What schools are you guys representing?
Daniel is Calabar.
Daniel is a barman. That's right. So Rhea, you can just message us on any one of our social media, or I left the email address in the comments, so you can email us there and we will contact you. Same for Iam and Daniel Williams. Iam Archam, what? Oh, Iam is asking, where should I message you? All right, so I left the email address. I left the email address up in the comments, or you can message me on Instagram, Stocks on the Rocks, or on Twitter, Stocks on the Rocks. So Rhea is from Campion. Big up Campion every time.
Big up Campion.
All right, calm down, Makeda. Calm down. So Delmar is from Calabar. Daniel is from Calabar. Sherry is from St. Mary High. Big up St. Mary High. Me know St. Mary High. Oh, wait, St. Mary High. Oh, the wrong one. Above Rocks. Big up St. Mary High. Tanara is from IMAC. Big up IMAC every time. You know. Chelsea is from St. Hilda's. You know, big up St. Hilda's. St. Hilda's is KC's sister school, but still big up St. Hilda's. Iam is from Arden. Okay, so Iam I was looking for. So the winners are from Arden, Calabar, and Campion. All right, Arden, Calabar, and Campion. So let me just repeat for the last time. If you want to contact me, you can, so there are a couple ways. Email me. The email is in the comments, so just scroll up and you will see where Stocks on the Rocks commented. Instagram, Stocks on the Rocks. On Instagram, the logo is the same across all platforms. You can't miss it. Or you can message us on Twitter. If you're on Twitter, Tanara says St. Mary's College. Oh boy. Sorry, somebody said something. And I know that Aishiba was from Excelsior. So on behalf of the entire team, the team is online. They can speak for themselves, but let me talk first. So, you know, I'm the loudmouth. Thanks for joining, guys. Thanks for joining so much. We hope you learned a lot. And I just want to say this is the tip of the iceberg. It is not difficult. What you can do is reach out to us on social media and ask any question that you want to ask. You can email us and ask any question that you want to ask, and we will try to direct you in the right way. Thanks for joining. Please share this YouTube link with any other teenager that you think may benefit from this. Yeah, and on behalf of the team, thanks so much. And I guess the other guys, if you want to give a shout out. Ooh, I also want to say big ups to Samantha Tolo, big ups to Clifton Lee. You know, these are very busy people, and they took time out of their Friday evening to come and spend it with us to share their knowledge in the field. And I appreciate it so much, and I'm positive that you appreciated it as well.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, man. Oh, Clifton, you know, I didn't look in the participants. I didn't realize that you were still here. But yeah, man, your segment on savings really touched on, you know, what we need to focus on as it pertains to discipline. Everybody who's on the live, please subscribe and like the video. Please subscribe and like the video and share as much as possible on your social media platforms. We at Stocks on the Rocks, we do events like this every month. So feel free to join. At least once every month, we talk about investing, saving, money management, insurance. So you can join us every month, and we will be here to help. Okay?
Simon.
Yes, Amanda.
Thank you too for allowing me to share with your family, your Stocks on the Rocks family. Thank you. You know, I hope they really take away a lot from this and actually go out and do the necessaries to start their investment account to aid in their growth.
I hope so as well, man. I hope so as well. All right. Thanks, guys. See ya. Take care.